Okay, so me and my tour guide, my trekking partner, this is Doyle.
Yeah.
Sawadee Krap.
Hi. Yeah.
He's going to be escorting us today up into the jungle. I think we have 3 points of interest. We're going to stay in his village tonight, and I'm really looking forward to this trek. You saw the journey to the start of the trail here, which was about an hour on the back of his motorbike. Just got a little day bag with some camera equipment, some water, some cream, and then I have jeans, a jacket, spare pair of socks, underwear and a t-shirt to change into tonight, because I would imagine we're going to get soaked from sweat because we've picked a beautiful day, and I think we're going to be going up through the forest and crossing rivers and things, so we might get absolutely drenched. Plus, this time of year in October, the rains tend to come in the afternoon, so if we get rained on, I think it's nice to have a good dry pair of clothes in the bag. So how many hours today will we walk?
About 5 hours.
5-hour walk.
Yeah. We have to cut a bamboo.
Okay, what's this for?
A walking stick.
Ah, walking stick. Okay, thank you. The next few hours of this trek were really enjoyable. Doyle, the tour guide, bless him, he was awesome. And as you'll see later in the video, even though things don't really go to plan when we get to his village, as you'll see later, he was lovely from start to finish. And I just want to say that this tour guide, Doyle, 10 out of 10 for his service, his attention to detail, and as you'll see later, his approach to problem solving was very sweet. And anyway, for the next few hours, obviously you can see we walked through the beautiful countryside. To be honest, it was mostly farming land, and I had hoped to be more in the jungle. After all, I had booked this tour as a jungle trekking experience, and as we went through, we saw the long beans, obviously endless amounts of corn, lots of rice, which was flowering at the time, and this beautiful plant here, this is ginger. So we pulled up the roots and exposed some just to double check it was ginger, because I was so amazed that's what it looks like. But there you go, you learn something new every day. Also lots of peanut plants, which again, I was like, wow, I've never seen peanut plants before. So I was learning a lot and experiencing a lot of beauty, and it was very hot and we were sweating buckets, so we had to stop every 10-15 minutes just to drink some water, rest up a little bit. And I just want to say at this point that I had booked this tour, this exact tour, to the exact same places, including the tribe that I was hoping to stay at, before. I booked this 10 years ago. I booked it at this place on Walking Street, and it was still run by the, to be honest, lovely old man who runs and sells these tours. However, yes, things have changed over the past 10 years, and I think it's changed in the last year, let's be honest, with everything that's been going on. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I have done this tour before, except this time, things have changed a bit. Ah, you're right, it is peanut, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, fresh peanut. Needs salt. Salt and maybe a cold beer. Then it's perfect. But yeah, cool, I didn't know they grew like that. Thank you. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, we made it to the village. The first village. It's just a little break. Cheeky little ice lolly. And these people live right up here in the middle of nowhere. And it's amazing to see that their lifestyle up here is very nice, very simple. Beautiful fences and plants, and everyone has their own plot of land, and the houses look really nice. You know, they're all made of wood, and then they've got solar panels on the roof. There's a couple of jeeps, and everybody has a little motorbike. And that path that we've walked on, believe it or not, is I think the road back to the main road. So they can just drive, you know, the locals, they can drive their little Hondas anywhere, can't they? This is not where we're staying tonight. This is just a little stop along the way. My guide just said, I think you probably should put your mask on because you're a foreigner, and they haven't seen a foreigner for quite a long time, and they might be freak out. So that's fair enough. And I just flew the drone over the village, and there's 300 people living up here, and the schools have gone back today, even in Chiang Mai, even my old school, all the kids have come back, so that's a great step in the right direction. And so we're just, you know, we've just refueled and had a lollipop, and now we're going to go to a sinkhole.
No. After.
After, okay.
Yeah.
So now we just need to go walk.
Yeah.
Some more walking.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautiful little village. Oh, what have we got? Is this lime?
Yeah.
Manao?
No Malao. From Mak Phalang.
Oh.
You know? Not lemon. Mat Phalang.
Mat Phalang.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this one. What's this called? Guava.
Guava, yeah.
Guava. Yeah, Phalang.
Yeah.
Every tree and bush we seem to walk past, he's grabbing something. Eat this, try this. So this is what they call Phalang, which is the same word for foreigner, because the meat inside is white. But we would know it as guava. It smells amazing.
Good, my friend.
Yeah, it's delicious. We get this in Chiang Mai all the time, but it's normally quite green. We're just going through so many beautiful like flowers and all types of different ones, blue ones and red ones and yellow ones and green ones, and loads of massive bugs flying around. And we just saw a hunter, which was cool. He had a rifle, and you never guess what he was trying to catch. What's he hunting for?
From the bird, you know, squirrel, you know?
Flying squirrel?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Is it for eating?
Yeah, from eating, it's cooking.
Cool. Okay, good luck. But now we're back into the forest, which is great, because that last hour, as beautiful as it was, walking along the ridges of the farmland, and as great as the views were, and the landscapes were incredible, but you know, you're getting blasted by the sun. And I've got sun cream on, but I don't have a hat, so bring a hat. But coming back into the forest, into the bamboo, this is more my vibe. It's in the shade, lots more nature sounds. This is kind of what I wanted. I wanted a jungle trek to the tribe, and going through the farmland was cool, but this is what I want.
Fish sauce, น้ำปลา
Okay, a bag of cow pad, chicken fried rice. Not high score for presentation, but let's give it a taste. Alloy mai.
อร่อยนิดหน่อย See the spider?
Oh, big spider. That section there where we just went through, that would separate the boys from the men, as they say, because that was kind of difficult. I mean, I'm sure it's just a walk in the park for him, but I'm a soft city boy. I've done my fair share of trekking, but we've just gone through, obviously, the trail for the last 2 kilometers up through the jungle behind me there was extremely overgrown. I think nobody's doing these trails, obviously, and only a few of them are like this. And we just went through waist height grass, weeds, fallen bamboo, countless spider webs just hitting you in the face, and you just see the spiders running around. If you're scared of spiders, I don't think you'd survive for that last section. Oh my god. So that is the sinkhole, or the spirit hole. It's 200 meters deep, but I was getting eaten by mosquitoes, but he's told me there's another viewpoint up here, so we're just climbing up. Ow! These mozzies will bite through your shirt, they'll bite through your back. Holy moly. Oh wow, okay, it was worth it. So what I can see is, you know, unlike the limestone cliff that you see down south in Krabi and places like that, this is just a deep crater, but formed through erosion and water. And what's interesting is you can see, obviously, the deep, massive hole in the wall, and then where the soil has deposited over the hundreds and millions of years probably, there has a mini jungle down there. And you know, it looks at first glance just like maybe it's just plant life, but they are the tops of the canopy of ginormous, huge, tall trees. And yet, so in this bowl down below us, 200 meters down, is this secluded ecosystem that has probably been unchanged for so long. I would love to go down there and survey what animals are living down there. Are there any predators? What kind of birds? What kind of insects? You know, there could be unique animals down there, but you would have to traverse the rock somehow, because this is just a giant circular hole in the ground. I wonder if anyone's ever... Can you go down there? Huh? Can you go down into the hole? No. No, it's too dangerous. Yeah, no chance you can get down there. So they've just built this little observation desk, and they've got a sign saying dangerous, and that's it. It's just, you look down and you just get that feeling in your stomach of like, Jesus, this is high up, you know. You see this canopy and the birds flying across, and this is all the rock, and it comes around here, and this is where we're standing, and it's just deep down in there. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, and we have been walking since about 10. So it's been about 5 hours, like you said at the beginning. Obviously I'm excited to spend a night at the village. I hope they're not like freaked out, because they won't have seen a foreigner for a long time. And I'll put my face mask on when I come into the village, obviously. And ow, mind your step when you're coming down this path, guys. This well-trodden path. Just remember that stone, okay? Yeah, so I don't want to like. I hope they're happy to see me, because every single village like we've gone through a couple now, but the villages, the people don't wear masks. They're not bothered about COVID, because why would COVID come here? The only thing that could bring COVID is someone like me, right? A foreigner, a dirty foreigner.
They did not know about disease until the white man came.
Can we just take a second to look at this place? I mean, isn't this just unbelievable? And we're coming down into the valley, into the village. The only thing is my knees are a little bit giving up now. I'm like, you know, it's been 5 hours now, so they're a little bit sore. Okay, so at this point, I just want to jump in and explain the footage over the next few minutes, because this is where things kind of took a turn for the worse. And so as you can see, I'm walking into the village and I'm wearing my face mask, and I'm walking in, and the first person I see is a bloke on a motorbike, and he waves and he's smiling at me, because we'd met him earlier actually on the trek, and he used to do the rafting tours with the tourists, and so he was happy to see me. He talked to me during the trip, and you know, it's a sign of good things, especially for him, because as foreigners come back to Thailand and as things open up and people are doing trekking tours, he's probably thinking, brilliant, like it's getting back to the time where I might be able to go back to work as a tour guide. And he was happy to see me, and then I saw a little cute kid feeding the chickens, and he was having a great little time, and he wasn't really that repelled by my existence. However, then I walked into the town and my guide was walking alongside me, and some bloke came out. And remember, none of these tribe people wear face masks because they're in the middle of the mountains, and you know, let's face it, why should they? Because they live a very solitudal existence. They live in the middle of the mountains, hours from anywhere, and so fair play to them. And so this guy comes out and he's like, well, who's this guy, you know? And he's having a little bit of a conversation. Now, I can't speak their language, but body language and tone of voice and pointing at me and things like that, it's quite clear what they're talking about. Nobody's been in this village for a very long time. The trail was overgrown. The locals were really interested and slightly worried I was there. And in the distance, there was two ladies sat on a wall. And even though I'm wearing a face mask and I'm about 20, 30 meters away, they saw me, and the first thing they did was put their t-shirt over their mouth and nose. So that was very polite. So I was like, okay, they obviously were really happy I'm here now. Brilliant. And the tour guide, you know, we kept walking through the village, and we walked past this group of men who all knew him. And again, they're debating and talking about me and pointing at me, and he's, you know, we're walking along, and it was just very apparent at that stage that my presence in this hill tribe, in this little village, wasn't well received. And so I'm like holding the camera, like smiling, but I'm wearing a face mask, so I'm like, hi, but they can't see me smiling, trying to be nice. And they weren't shouting at me, they weren't saying anything wrong. It just was very clear that I wasn't supposed to be there, or they didn't like it. So we get to his house, and he's built this wooden house, and it's really nice. And there was a lady under the house sleeping, and she was topless. So that he was like, put your clothes on, and this woman was like, what, there's a foreigner here, what's going on? And now I was like, oh my god, I've just walked in on a local lady and I've seen her naked, and it was just, oh my god, it was an awkward situation. So she got dressed. Then we went into the house, and he said, you can take your mask off in my house, just relax. And I said, okay. And he made a little area with a mat, and he put the vegetables down. And I said, so where am I going to sleep? Because I'd done this tour, you know, as I explained in this video, I've done this tour before, and the last time we did this tour, it was a group of us, and they had this really beautiful, remember, I stayed in this exact same village. They had this bamboo wooden hut, and inside were 4 or 5 mattresses with clean linen, pillows, mosquito net, and I think they had a fan. And I was really up for sleeping in a bamboo hut, no problems, on a mattress with a mosquito net, fan or no fan, doesn't really make any difference. I was ready to have a night up in the hill tribe. However, he pointed at his bedroom, and he had a mattress on the floor, and on the mattress was, you know, duvet and t-shirts and socks and muddy, dirty clothes, and the bed wasn't made, and it was clearly his bed. It was messy and it wasn't clean, and he said, "Oh, you can sleep in my bed." And I was like, "Well, where are you gonna sleep?" And then he said, "I'll just sleep outside." And I was like, "What?" I said, no, like, where's the room with the clean beds and the linen, and like where the foreigners, tourists stay?" And he said, "Oh yeah, that's not around anymore." And I said, "Okay, I'm not gonna kick this guy out of his house, well, out of his bed, and make him sleep outside." And I didn't want to sleep in his bed because it wasn't tidy and it wasn't clean. And I didn't film his bedroom because I would be rude, but it just, can you imagine, right? So I was just like, "No, I'm okay, thank you." So then I was like, "Is there a hotel in this village?" And he said, "Yeah, kind of." And I was like, "All right." And at that point, I knew that the main road was about half an hour away, and I could probably hitchhike back to town or find a hotel nearby. And I said to him, "Thank you so much for the hospitality today. Thank you for being my tour guide for the day. Thank you for offering to cook me dinner," because he had the vegetables and everything. But it was late afternoon, and I thought Pai is going to be a couple of hours away. So I said, "Do you mind if I just go back to Pai? Because I don't want to kick you out of your bed, and I don't want to stay in this village. I don't feel very welcome." And you know, I wasn't being rude, and I was staying positive. I was just politely saying, "I don't think I'm going to stay here." He said, "Okay." So he grabs his neighbour's motorbike, because his motorbike was miles away from when we dropped off and started the trek. And we go on this mad adventure for an hour of me driving with him out to the village, onto the main road, back, and 45 minutes to the start of the trail. He picks up his motorbike, then I drive his neighbour's motorbike with him back to the village, another 45 minutes. This is like an hour and a half detour. No helmet, the bike is rickety, and it's, you know, just a bit of a shambles. We get back to his village for the second time, then we get on his bike, and we both drive to Pai through through the most beautiful sunset you've ever seen. That was amazing. However, coming down into Pai, into the valley, there was a lot of rain, and we got soaking wet. And so when I got to the tour guide, you know, back to the walking street, it was nighttime, and I saw the old fella who runs the tour guide company, and all I said to him was, I said, "Hi, listen, because they offered me a 1,500 baht tour for a 1 day and come back. So do the trail, go to the village, and then come back that day. Or I paid 2,500 to stay over, have dinner and breakfast, do some activity in the morning, and then come back." But because we'd come back in 1 day, I said to the guy, "Listen, the accommodation wasn't there. He wanted me to sleep in his bed. His bed wasn't made up or welcoming. The village people weren't happy to see me. They were doing all this, and I don't think they want tourists in this village, dude." And he said, "Yeah, because of COVID." And I said, "Well, yeah, but why didn't you tell me that the bed situation wasn't the same as before, and that the village people weren't happy to see me? You know, you could have warned me, or anything." Maybe that was my fault for not asking, you know, like, "Oh, where am I going to sleep? Are the villagers going to be happy?" I just assumed that I'd have the same situation to sleep, and that they would be happy to see me. But both didn't happen. I didn't have my dinner. I didn't have my night's accommodation. I didn't have breakfast or any activities the next day. So I didn't ask for a refund or any money back. I just said, "Do you think that it's fair to charge me the 2-day rate, even though I've only done 1 day?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't got any money to give you back." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. No big dramas. I'm not going to kick off. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to go back to my hotel, and have a masa man and a glass of wine and a slice of chocolate cake because I'm hungry. And poor the tour guide, bless him, he hadn't eaten with me. We'd only had that rubbish fried rice at lunchtime, remember? So the village wasn't happy to see me. They asked me, well, they didn't ask me to leave, but it felt very clear that they didn't want me there. So I politely removed myself from the situation. And I just wanted to communicate that with you. If you're going to be doing a jungle tour, a trekking tour in Northern Thailand, post-COVID, just make sure, ask ahead, where are we staying? Are they going to be happy to see us? Are we the first tourists to come for a long time? Or is things back to normal, kind of? Because otherwise you'll be put in an awkward, uncomfortable position, potentially, like I kind of felt I was. Anyway, that was the experience. That was the sour ending. What do you think? What would you do? And I'll put it down to experience for not asking ahead and just assuming things would be relatively the same. That was kind of stupid of me. But anyway, a travel experience, a travel fail, another adventure. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.